What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of my new career mode. This is episode number 50, and yes, today I have a special video for you guys, a special treat for me to say thank you for all the support on the series so far. We are going to be playing through most of the transfer window live in today's episode. You're going to see most of the transfer window, and we're also going to play the SUPERCOPPA, which will be around this time, I'd imagine, which is, of course, the Italian Community Shield, if you will, the SUPERCOPPA, where the winners of the Coppa Italia and the Serie A title of last season playing a sort of a one game thing before the season starts with the league, the Serie A. So yeah, we're going to play through most of the transfer window, and again it'll be around this period once the fixture list has been drawn. But of course, you guys know a bit of an interesting thing happened with the European Championships. We sort of started the new season in June, which I was pretty sure always happens in July, and I'm pretty sure happened last year as well. So it means we're not actually in the transfer window yet, even though we've seen our transfer budget and our objective for the league. As you can see, we've got around £23 million to work with, but after wage budget alteration, it's probably going to be more about 16, 17, I'd imagine, at the best. So yeah, we got a little bit of money from the board to start with for winning the Serie A and getting to the Champions League and the Coppa Italia semi-finals last season. So getting a little bit of money from the board, and I'm okay with the budget we've got, but I was hoping it might be a little bit better. But even so, I got a few transfer targets in mind, and in today's episode, basically, I did an episode like this in my PS4 career mode, or my Millwall career mode, if you will, last year, where I was actually managing Spurs at the time, funnily enough. And I did an episode like this where I played through most of the transfer window for you guys, and it went down really, really well. You guys seem to really enjoy it. One of the reasons you really enjoyed it because I was giving feedback on the transfers as they were sort of coming in and saying why I'm accepting deals, why I'm letting players go, why I'm signing players who you may not have thought of before. Basically, just giving you guys like an insight to my mind when it comes down to transfers. Because a lot of you guys do ask me, where'd you get your transfer targets from? Some of them, or quite a lot of them, are actually from you guys. And why would you sort of, the counter offers, for example. Like I talk about counter offers, sometimes teams matching ridiculous amounts, so it's just worth doing anyway. I've always got little tips and tricks every now and then, just sort of try and help you with in career mode if you're not someone who's played the game for too many years, and hopefully they could be beneficial for you. So yeah, in today's episode we will play through most of the transfer window, and hopefully you guys will really enjoy it. But I'm going to cut it up into segments as well, just to give me breaks from every now and then, because the transfer window does take a long time to play through, and I'll have breaks every now and then. But I'll cut the footage up and also just show you all the transfers to come in and give my assessment, if you will, on the deals we'll be doing. Anyway, it seems like we're stuck in simulation mode, so what I'm going to do is keep on going, but take the commentary off. So what I'm going to do is clip the footage out here, come back for when the transfer window starts, and we'll start discussing deals, transfer targets, and so on and so forth. So back in a second. Okay, so that didn't take too long. We're now into the transfer window, which is great, because obviously we started a new season a month beforehand for some strange reason. But the transfer window is now open, so as you can see the board sending us the email there. The domestic cup objective, which we never got, is now to win the cup, and the Champions League is to reach the knockout stage. So this is the first time I got cup competitions of winning it, which I'm not really happy about, because I always like to play kids in that competition. So the board wants us to win that trophy. That's kind of annoying. But anyway, here's the youth monthly report as we do now into July. You can see how the players are getting on. I think what I'm going to do as well is go ahead and promote Lorenzo Motta, because we need to get him in the first team eventually, and we'll have to wait until May again. That's another 10 months before we can go for another May boost. So we may as well promote the 16-year-olds, 73 to 79, 89 to 94. I've actually been a little bit cheeky, to be honest, and I've actually seen what his overall is, being a manager of Italy. That's something you can do as well. A little tip for you guys if you didn't know. If you're a manager of a country and you've got a player in your academy who's from the same country, you can go into the international management side and you can actually go and check their overall. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that in just a moment's time. So let's go ahead and promote Lorenzo Motta first. Don't have to pay a signing on fee, which is great. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. Oh, transfer offer first. Let's take a look at that. One transfer for our young goalkeeper came out of the academy, Barone, for a season-long loan. Yes, you can go there. So I'll show you what I mean by that, just in case you guys didn't, understand what I was just saying there. I talk quite quickly, as you guys know. Basically, if you're the international manager of a country which your club has a player in your academy is from the club, you can check their overall international squad selection. But I just remembered, because the European Championships are going on, you can't do that. So now I sound like an idiot, and you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about. But if I can find a link on the internet, for example, I'll put it in descriptions. You guys know. It's just a little tip which you guys could be hopefully clued up on from now on. So there we go. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't get to show you that, because that's exactly what I was just talking about there. Must have sounded like an idiot, but fair enough. But either way, so what I'm going to do in this episode is just give you assessment on the transfers we'll be doing, little bits of feedback, try and give some tips and tricks if I can. I'm not really the best, as you can see Barone goes out on loan, we knew that already. I'm not really the best when it comes down to tips and tricks with transfers, really, but either way, hopefully I can give you a couple which will be able to help you out. But Mira wants a new contract. I think we'll have a look at it because Alexander is in this season, so he won't be a first-team left-back. But yeah, there you go. So I'll get down to the next transfer in just a moment's time and see what else has happened. Okay, so our second transfer offer is for Immobile, but of course we're not going to let our striker go. He was the league's top scorer last season. He finished with 23, I think it was, and Porto wanted for £17 million, which is a £6 million profit. But as I've mentioned many times before, the overall, as important as it is not as important as how well you feel controlling the players. So even though Immobile, he's 26 years old now, I can't imagine he'll get much higher than, let's say, the early 80s. I think that it's probably best to keep him because I felt really comfortable using him last year. It is every now and then wise to cash in on a striker if they are getting a little bit older. For example, if Immobile was in his early 30s, I'd certainly consider a bid like that. But when he's younger, when he's still got more time to grow, even if he doesn't grow, he's still got time stuck at his current overall. It's better than selling him if you feel really comfortable using him and score a lot of goals with the striker. So Lorenzo Motta accepts his contract. So I wanted to show you what his overall was in the national squad selection, but you'll see anyway. He's actually a really good academy prospect. You can see 76 overall. I've had a couple of players that have come out in mid-70s before. My highest is 78, I think. But as you can see, Motta's stats right here. I mean, he just looks absolutely incredible. Really, really awesome stats. And as you guys know, like, you know, he could theoretically play centre back. That is listed as his main position, but he is only 5'9", so I'm not going to play in there. Obviously, he's got left back listed too. He's a right-footed player. I like to have my fullbacks having the same foot as the side of the pitch they're on. So Motta, to me, as an academy player, looks like a good defensive midfielder. He can tackle. He's got decent ability in the air, heading at actually 86, but of course his height is his biggest downfall. So nowhere I'm playing a 5'9", so I play a 6'9" centre back. Nowhere I'm playing a 5'9" centre back. So he is going to be a defensive midfielder for us in this team, and I think he's probably going to be a type of player that could probably play from the start actually and take Vaselli out. So to maximise his game time, what I think I might do is actually put Motta in the why did I do that? The CDM position, because even though a player doesn't have that position listed, you know, you don't have to be limited to where the players have their listed positions. So Motta, for example, doesn't have CDM, but I'm going to play in there anyway because the stats, like the attributes, for example, they're more important than what the listed position says. You know, this guy obviously could play centre back, but a 5'9" is going to be a big disadvantage for him. So I'm going to play in CDM and not worry about that because the player will still grow. Don't worry about it. The player will still grow. I have heard theories that they grow at a quicker rate if they're in a preferred position, like centre back, for example, but they'll still grow anyway, even if they do get played out of position. If you want an example, Kevin Tavernier, for example, was listed as a wide midfielder. We played him through the middle for the most of his career, and it was fine. So he grew perfectly fine. So yeah, if you are someone who doesn't play the game too much, you promote an academy player, and you're worried if you play him out of the position, he won't grow. He will still grow. I'm not sure whether it's the same rate as someone who does get played in their preferred position, but he will still grow. So don't worry about it too much. So yeah, Motta comes in. I'll show him in the squad report as well. His potential, it's not a real surprise. He's got the well, I'd imagine he'll have the potential to be special tags. Let's have a quick look. Where is he? Lorenzo Motta, where is he? I put him in the first team, didn't I? Should have checked that. Motta, there we are. So he's got the exciting prospect tag, but we know that with enough game time, he can get past that. And again, if you're not a regular career mode player, if you get a player out of your academy and he's got a tag like the exciting prospect one, there's 3 tags: showing great potential and exciting prospect, and has potential to be special. Showing great potential is between 80 to 84 overall, I do believe. Or 81 to 84, no, 80 to 84. The exciting prospect tag like Motta means he's got a potential of 85 to 89, and the potential to be special has 90 plus. So Motta should theoretically have potential between 85 to 89, but with enough game time, he can actually maximise his potential and outgrow it. Lots of players will outgrow their potential if you give them enough game time and keep them happy as well, and they're in good form. So there you go, and let's get down to some more transfers. I have a couple of obviously transfer targets in mind right now. Mainly this season, I think we should be looking for a centre-back. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, as Porto don't match our counter-offer for Immobile, which is fine. I know it might sound ridiculous because we've already got some decent CVs here, just promoted a good one, despite the fact he'll play holding midfield. We've got Cher, we've got Maximovic, we've got Balanta as well, Engels too, and of course Janssen is actually growing our academy, despite, not our academy, our reserves, despite not getting much game time, but he is 25 years old. So we signed Engels, we signed Balanta, and we signed Fabian Cher as well, for a combined total of around, I think it must have been about £10 million for these two, and of course Cher's wages as well. So we signed 3 centre-backs, but as you guys know, these two, two, Balanta and Cher, just aren't growing despite being the centre-back partner with Maximovic. Engels has grown a couple of ratings, but not too much. So I'm thinking about signing a new centre-back and getting a good first choice in. So my transfer targets, one of them, of course, plays for Italy. He's called Arialdo, as you can see here. He's 27 years old, 6'1", low high work rates, and of course I can check his overall. And I would imagine this guy might be a glitch player because of the tackling stats he's got that have increased significantly. So what we're going to do is put an offer in for Arialdo, and I think he will be the main guy I'll go for. There are obviously other targets as well, which we'll be going in for in a minute's time too, but this is the first guy that came to mind when I was using him for Italy. And I think he could be a really solid defensive partner with Maximovic. And at 27 years old, he's still got room to grow. And even if he doesn't grow, he won't go down in stats until about the age of 30 minimum. So I'm going to put in a bid for this guy. And of course, Sassuolo, a club in the Serie A, finished in the bottom half last season in the game. So, you know, they're not going to be holding us to ransom, or at least you wouldn't expect so. But he has got 2 years and 11 months left on his deal. So we'll probably have to pay over his valuation. But even so, I always think it's best to go with a valuation bid right from the beginning. Even if you don't think, and the chief executive doesn't think, you'll be able to get him for that price, I still think it's worth doing it just on the off chance they might accept it anyway, as sometimes clubs do. So always, you know, don't go all out right from the beginning. Try and get the best deals possible. I think you get about 5 to 6 negotiations with a club most times before they'll basically cut you off completely. So you've got a lot of time to work with. I always go with a low ball offer first, sometimes even under the valuation, just to see how the clubs are feeling and whether they would either just flat out say it's not good enough, or whether they might possibly end up accepting it. Just because sometimes clubs will do that. So Arialdo is my first transfer target, but either way, the squad, as you guys have seen, it's not a bad squad whatsoever with Torino. I like the group of players we got here. It's just, as you guys have pointed out many times before, it's not a case of, you know, me having bad players or older players. For example, Quagliarella, who's retired now, was one of only 2 players that are in their 30s. Bernie's the other one, and I think the average age of the squad is about 23 years old. It's not a problem with the age of the squad we got or the players we got with no potential. A lot of players do have decent potential in this squad, I know that for sure, but unfortunately the growth glitch problems means that the potentials just don't seem to matter and the players will not grow in overall. Looking at players like Balanta, of course, being a big one, I think Florenzi as well is another one too. The problem is the players just won't grow, and there's not really much I can do about that. There is the short-term loan glitch where you'll loan out a player on a short-term loan for no days whatsoever. You just record them on the same day, which should hopefully fix the potential glitch. But I've tried that with 3 different players before in my club and country series, and it only really worked with 1, and not even too significantly. So yeah, there's not really much I can do about the overalls not growing, sadly, and that means that when I'm looking down this list of squad, I'm looking at players and thinking they could definitely be really good in the future, but if they're not going to grow, why should I keep them? So my aim for this window is to possibly look into relocating Balanta. It's to possibly look in relocating for Florenzi, because even though I really like the guy, I just don't think he's going to grow, and I'm not sure it'll be beneficial for us. And I'm also possibly contemplating on relocating Poloski, because I know he was our top scorer in the first season. Everyone loves the Punisher, but you know, last season didn't really live up to his expectations considering how great his first season was, and he's a player on the bench right now, and I don't think he's going to get higher than 77. So I'm thinking about possibly selling him whilst we can still get, you know, a decent amount of money for him, and then looking to bring in another striker, seeing as Choupo-Moting, well, he's the other one I might be thinking about selling if I don't sell Poloski, because neither of these two had great seasons last year, even though Choupo-Moting only came in January. So thinking about selling possibly both of these, or maybe just one, and then looking for another striker as well on the backup. And Zardes as well. Zardes had a great season for us last season despite only playing limited minutes, yet look at him, he's still 72 overall. How's that work? But that's just how the game works, sadly, nowadays. But anyway, let's go into some more transfer targets, see what Sassuolo say first about Arialdo, and we'll also look into signing a new centre-back if we can't get hold of him. So there are quite a few centre-backs in my mind. When it comes down to transfer targets, where I look sort of varies, really. I get quite a lot of suggestions from you guys, so obviously thank you very much for those, but I also, you know, have a little bit of football knowledge myself as well, of players in the world. And of course, don't forget, I've been playing career mode for many years, so I know about some of the young players coming through and how good they could be in the future. So for example, Fabian Schär last year, in FIFA 14, I had the guy in my Spurs team, and he was really good, so I already knew about the guy previously, so I know where to get the transfer targets from. It's just that in this year's FIFA, I do feel as though it's harder to negotiate deals with clubs than it used to be, which is good in a way, because it makes it a little bit more realistic, but it does make it a little bit more frustrating as well, because, you know, Arialdo at Sassuolo, 82 overall, clearly still growing. You'd think that he would want to leave the club, and because the career mode is limited, limited ability, I guess, limited options and stuff. You know, you can't, in Football Manager, for example, you could unsettle the player and try and, you know, get him to want to leave the club to come and join you. In FIFA, you can't do that, so it's kind of frustrating. There's limited things you can do to try and get players on sort of cut price deals, if you will. But anyway, gonna have a quick break here, get myself a mug of tea, as I'm starting to feel a little bit tired right now. My mouth's already getting dry, so we'll see this transfer offer Choupo-Moting first, though, because we are contemplating selling this guy. Now, £8 million isn't a bad deal for Choupo-Moting, because we signed him for £5 million in January, and he didn't do too well for us, and we were contemplating selling him. He's on 80 grand a week. If we sell him for £8 million, we make a profit of £3 million and don't need to worry about the fact he struggled for us in our first 6 months because he won't be here anymore. But I'm actually going to ask for a little bit more because he is in good form. Well, that's what the game says. I don't think he was in good form myself. And the chief executive thinks we can get a bit more money. Always pay attention to a player's form when you're contemplating selling them. If they're in good form, you can get more money for them. Trust me. It's just a case of, you know, how it will be in real life. If a club's in good form, they're going to be more desirable in the eyes of other clubs that might want to come in for him. And of course, then there's going to be competition, so they're willing to pay a little bit over the odds. So if a club offers, you know, for example, this is a great example. If they offer just a little bit over his valuation, if you want to accept it, that's totally fine, and, you know, cover your losses, for example, like we would. But for Choupo-Moting, being in good form, being happy, he's only 27 years old, so still got a few years to grow. If he does, I'm not sure he will grow anymore, though. You can get a bit more money for him, so I always think it's worth doing a counter offer, because usually a club will at least come back to you with a sort of a cut price of the counter offer. So maybe they won't match £12 million, but they'll go as high as 10, sort of meet us in the middle. Sometimes clubs will do that. It's actually sort of half and half whether a club will flat out reject you and say, like Porto just did for Immobile. It all depends on what your counter offers are and whether they're realistic. I think £12 million is a realistic amount to ask for, so what we're going to do is actually let's drop it down. Let's drop it down to £11 million. £11 million definitely, you know, worth asking for, considering he is in good form and only 27 years old. So Stoke should theoretically, or I'd imagine so, come back and say, yeah, we'll take him for £11 million, or only give us, let's say, 9 or 10, which we'd still take anyway. So always worth counter offering if, you know, you're not desperate to sell the player. Like, we're not desperate to sell the guy. Always worth counter offering just in case you might get a little bit more money for the guy. So let's quickly advance actually and see whether Stoke will accept that. If they do, then there we go. So right there, Stoke go ahead and match the £11 million counter offer, and that was really easy. I possibly, you know, I'm starting to think I possibly could have got £12 million for the guy, but there you go. That's just another tip. I always recommend doing a counter offer if the chief executive says it's a good idea. If he's in good form, he's not too old, it's worth doing anyway, just in case. And a lot of the times you'll be surprised clubs will match them whether they're desperate for the player or not. So there you go. Choupo-Moting is probably going to go to Stoke, and we're going to make a little bit more money than we possibly could have done. So Sassuolo want £23.5 million for Arialdo. Don't really want to pay that, so we'll keep on going in with these sort of mixed offers, a little bit under what they're asking for, because even when a club says they want, you know, that exactly that price tag right there, that may be the price tag, but you can still get them down lower. You don't have to match that. Sometimes you'll have to, but a lot of the time you can get them for a couple million cheaper. So we'll keep on going in for Arialdo. We're going to try and put 17.25 million, because I'm not too sure he is definitely worth that, but if he is glitched, he'll theoretically still grow, and that could be a good signing for us. And we'll wait and see what Sassuolo say. We've still got, let's say, 2 or possibly 3 more email negotiations with them before they'll cut us off completely. So we've still got time to work out a deal, and we'll wait and see how cheap we can go. But let me just have a quick break, give myself a mug of tea, and I'll be back in just a moment's time. Okay, so a couple of transfer targets. This guy here, Stefan de Vrij, not sure how you pronounce that. The Dutch centre-half for Lazio. 24 years old, 6'2", 81 overall right now, so still got quite a good lot of room to grow if he does have the potential. Not sure what his potential would be, to be honest, but he does look like a pretty decent sort of early to mid-20s centre-back. As you can see, the chief executive says he's around 13.2 to 16.8 million pounds. So this would be an ideal signing for us, signing someone from a division rival as well in Lazio, and trying to get hold of one of their players who I think could be a really, really decent signing for us. So don't really want to go in right from the beginning with 13.2 million pounds, as I said, but we will probably go for 10 million pounds because he'll definitely be worth over his valuation, I would say, because he's only 24. Usually, you know, players that are 25 and under, I'd say, or maybe 24 and under, probably 25. Might be a bit of a stretch. Their clubs never seem to really accept anything lower than their valuation. So with players that are a little bit older, maybe they're a little bit less reluctant to. With players that are younger, I think this year FIFA have sort of EA have sort of coded into FIFA career mode that clubs sort of know when their youngsters still have quite a lot of room to grow. So they sort of want to try and keep hold of them, or they'll sell them for a little bit more than their valuation because they know what kind of future they could possibly have. So we're going £10 million right to begin with. I was contemplating doing a swap deal with possibly Fabian Schär or Balanta, but for the time being we'll just do £10 million, and and wait and see what Lazio say. The other transfer target I was looking at, I know is a really common one, and I guess if you want unrealistic, but I don't play career mode for realism, you guys know, so I don't really care about that. But Raphael Varane, now I know some of you might be saying, oh my god, every single YouTuber signs Raphael Varane. Well, I've never had Varane before, so there you go. He looks like a pretty decent player, as you guys know, only 23 years old and 6'3". Strength's, strength at 80, I think could definitely get into the, well, possibly get into the high 80s to 90, which I always like to see have centre-backs that are really strong, so that could definitely get up a little bit. Not saying 80 is low, of course, but that could definitely get up a little bit and be a lot more beneficial to add with good defensive stats anyway. And of course, the fact he's really quick too, well, for a centre-back, relatively speaking, is always a very big bonus. So let's go ahead and put a bid for Varane. He might be a little bit too expensive for us, you can see, as the chief executive notes that Real Madrid will have him as a future star and therefore ask for a lot more money. But I'm not too sure Real Madrid are going to want to keep hold of him and offer, make us pay £30 million, for example. I think we could be looking at high teens to possibly low 20s if we were lucky enough, because Varane would be one of my sort of biggest priorities for signing a centre-back. So let's go with £15 million right to begin with. It's £4 million over his valuation, and we'll wait and see what Real Madrid say. Because I'm totally happy going into the early 20s for this guy, because my main target this year is a centre-back, and I think one of these two, plus Ronaldo as well, would be a really good signing for us. So let's go and see if any clubs will come back to us, and if we can get some more deals on the go. See if Stoke are indeed going to sign Choupo-Moting. It's a bit of a shame about Choupo-Moting, really. As you can see there, he has been sold to Stoke for £11 million. So it's a bit of a shame because we make £4.5 million profit, which is good, I suppose, especially considering he didn't really work out too well for us. But it's like I really wanted him to work out, because I thought he'd be a great target man to support. And he was okay, but he had to score some goals as well. He just didn't really look the part here at Torino. So at least we get a profit for him. We'll take that every day of the week. So there we go. So Sassuolo once again rejected a transfer offer for Araujo. They want £23.5 million. Lazio want £16.5 million for De Vrij, and Real Madrid want 26.5. As you can see, they've already lowered their price tag after just one bid because they know they're not going to get £30 million for the guy, despite how good he is. So wouldn't be against paying £16.5 million for De Vrij. You could definitely grow a little bit more, but I think we could possibly get him a little bit cheaper than that. So let's first offer £10 million plus Balanta, because Balanta just never really worked out, sadly, as much as I really wanted him to because of how good he is in Football Manager. But we'll offer Lazio 10 plus Balanta, see if they want to get hold of the guy. And we'll do the same with Sassuolo. We'll drop it down to 15 and see if they might possibly want to sign a centre-back as well. Actually, let's go 16 and sign a centre-back as well, as opposed to just getting the money and not a player with it as well. Because a lot of the times clubs will actually want one of your players if you do offer them to them, if they're good enough, of course. And sometimes if it's the same position, that helps as well. So there we go. As for Real Madrid, £26.5 million for Varane. Well, I think it'd probably be the best choice for us in terms of player potential, but I'm not sure I want to pay £26.5 million. So let's go to 17.5 to begin with. I'm fine paying, let's say, 20 to £22 million, but considering his wages as well, I think I can get him a little bit cheaper than 26.5. I don't want to pay that anyway. So let's go ahead and put new bids in and see what the clubs say, because with this squad, as I said before, there aren't really too many areas I'm concerned about. Of course, don't forget Alexandro's just come in. So where is Alex? Oh, there he is. Where's Alexandro? Alexandro's just come in. So obviously we've got a good left back now too, even though Muro is good for us. He's 8 ranks lower. So as you can see, defense isn't bad, but the centre back of Cher and Maximovic, I really do want a good commanding one this season. And of course the CMs as well, possibly a replacement for Florenzi. And of course the striker as well. I don't mind Poloski and Immobile as a partnership, but I wouldn't mind signing a new striker too. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Either way, let's go ahead and see if any clubs will come back to us regarding those 3 centre backs. I definitely want to get the centre back in first, just to make sure we got him signed, because he is the centre back area is the main priority this season. So hopefully we'll see someone come back for us after this transfer for Immobile. There's no way we're getting rid of the guys. Let's go with 45 million, even though they won't match that. So there we go. And let's hopefully see if one of those clubs have accepted a bid for De Vrij, Varane, or Araujo as well. So yeah, so we aren't going to do that. That's fine. All 3 estates aren't acceptable. So yeah, so Lazio here will say, as you can see, they are actually interested in a player, so it's worth doing a swap deal if you have a player you want to get rid of anyway. Let's see if Sassuolo are interested. They're interested as well, but they still want a little bit more money, so not sure I want to trade £13.9 million plus Balanta, but what I'll do is I'll think about this and come back in a moment's time when I made my decision, get myself another bit of, get another bit of tea down me as well, because you can probably tell my voice getting a little bit cranky now, and we'll then consider accepting one of these deals. So another player I have my eye on is Marcos Rojo. I've sent out a few scout reports for a few different players. Rojo, as you can see, 80 overall, £9.5 million, 100 grand a week on the wages. The chief executive, interestingly, hasn't said anything other than this deal looks like it could happen. Go ahead and submit your offer, even at £0. So I don't really know what to say about that, because that free transfer obviously isn't going to happen. But I don't feel like this is the type of player who could definitely go for around his valuation. So let's go with £8 million just to begin with. Test the water and see what Manchester United say. As for the three centre-backs we're already currently looking at in Arialdo, Varane and De Vrij, as you can see right here, not too sure I want to match all of these, because even though that Balanta will give the value, the cash value sum a little bit lower, if we sign him with Balanta, I'm not sure I want to pay £13.9 million plus one of our centre-backs. But with Balanta, 75 overall, he's still quite young, but it doesn't look like he's going to grow at all in the entire series and for his entire career. We may as well try and get rid of the guy and try and bring someone else in. And seeing as I don't feel we'll get much more than £3 million for the guy, I guess if we offer something like £12 million, that's going to be a little bit less than what they want anyway, considering Balanta's not really worth that much despite being still quite a young centre-back. So let's go with £12 million plus Balanta. As for Arialdo, this is someone I would really like to sign, but don't really want to pay £20 million. Let's up it to 18 million plus Balanta and see what they say. As for Real Madrid, the likelihood of them wanting Balanta is very low, so I'm not even going to bother including him in the swap deal. But we're going to go a straight £21.25 million bid with Varane and see if they'll accept that, because I would definitely be okay paying that, because Varane is of course one of the best young centre backs in the world. I'd imagine in the game as well we'd have good potential. So got a few strikers as well I'm also looking at too, but just waiting for scout reports. You can see them in the bottom left going down. I've looked at all these guys and put scout reports on them. So we've got players like Vieto, Embolo, of course, who we're still trying to get hold of, Traore as well. And of course, players I've used before like Rodrigo, who was really good in my Club and Country series and for Seasons too. So we'll wait and see when these come back, what their overalls are, when the scouts come back with the reports on them. And we'll have to wait and see. But as you can see, David Luiz goes to Arsenal with £20 million. It's always worth looking at those media things, just in case you might see a player wants a transfer request. So Rojo for £15 million. Don't really want to pay that. But Lazio have accepted £12 million plus Balanta, which I think would be a solid deal, because Balanta, we couldn't sell him for more than £3 million. So effectively, at best, we're paying £15 million for De Vrij, because Balanta isn't really going to get into our team that much often if we sign a new centre-back. So De Vrij, 81 overall, 24 years old, 80 grand a week on the wages. I think he'd be a good signing for £12 million plus Balanta, and we'll wait and see what Lazio say. It is a little bit over his valuation, yes, but even so, definitely worth considering it. But Arialdo, I don't think we'll be able to get hold of the guy. 82 overall, 27 years old, but De Vrij is 3 years younger, and also only one rating lower. So I don't think I'm going to match what Sassuolo want, and I think we'll just end negotiations there unless we get desperate. United, £15 million for Rojo, not even going to bother going back unless something happens with the De Vrij deal. And Real Madrid now at £26.5 million for Varane still, which quite frankly I wouldn't be against matching, but I think De Vrij is just as good really, considering only 2 years young, only 2 ratings lower, and for a bit cheaper I think that'll be a better deal for us. So I think De Vrij is probably going to become our first signing, which is fine because he was the one I really wanted anyway. So as you can see, I put scout reports for a couple of players here. One is Alcardi. Let's see what he is. 81 overall. Wouldn't be against signing him. Wouldn't mind that at all. So look what Inter Milan might possibly want for him. 19.1. Okay, probably not going to happen, but fair enough. At least we've got a scout report on the guy. One for Dybala as well. So have a look at his overall too. This could be a better deal which we could get hold of. Lower wages. And, okay, maybe not. Either way, you never know. At least we've got scout reports on the guy. And the other one was Mustafi as well. I think is going to be a little bit rated too high for us. No, actually only 80 overall. I thought Mustafi started 80, 81. Maybe not. Okay. Well, he looks like he's going to go for more anyway. So let's not worry about that deal. So De Vrij is going to become our first signing. He was one of the 3 sort of main CB targets I was after anyway. I think he's probably a good signing at 12 million plus Balanta as well, considering Balanta just, he won't grow. Balanta just will not grow, trust me. So I think that's an okay deal. Not the best deal I'll ever put off, but certainly not the worst. We'll take a look at Stefan De Vrij in our squad, and I think he'll become the new CB partner for Maximovic, because I felt like we had to. I felt like we had to get an 80 plus centre back to play with Maximovic, because, you know, don't get me wrong, as I said before, the overall is important, but what's more important is how you feel the players. Cher and Balanta were never too convincing. I really wanted a good first choice centre back, and at 24 years old, still got many years to grow, good stats already. Yeah, I'm okay paying that price, and also losing Balanta, who wasn't going to grow anyway. So there we go. De Vrij comes my first signing, and going to take another quick break, and I'll be back in just a moment's time. Well, hopefully we'll get another new signing done. Alright, so we're back. So the first signing, of course, being Stefan de Vrij, £12 million plus Berlanter, which we just completed. And as I mentioned, one sort of other target I'm looking for would be a striker in terms of position in this team. Because right now, yeah, we are making strides with this Torino side. We are getting a lot better. As you can see, Bernie, of course, the goalkeeper, has been a big improvement in the overall. De Vrij coming in, another 80 plus player, our first 80 plus centre back. Danilo, of course, really good. Alexandra this season should probably hit 80, at least you hope so. And Hakan was, of course, great last season. Gabbiadini is still growing gradually as well, and of course Immobile, a really good signing too. So we are making good strides with this Torino side. We're still quite a long way off where we want to be, maybe not that far off, considering the fact that I think our budget is going to get steadily better over the next couple of years or so. But even so, we'd still have to get one more 80 plus rated player into this Torino team, and if it can be a striker, I'd really want that to be the case. So we've got a few scouts out right now looking at a few players. As you can see, Origi of Liverpool, Boni of Manchester City, that Jovetic as well. So two City players there, and Origi as well. They don't have to be young players. You know, players this year in FIFA don't actually decrease in stats as soon as they hit 30. Last year, when a player hit 30, it was like, you know, their career was effectively over because they just went down in stats so quickly. It was ridiculous. This year, it doesn't really happen that quickly. So, you know, you can look at players like Boni and Jovetic and not think, oh, I'm going to get 3 or 4 years maximum. You can get longer than that if they're in good form and happy as well. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be all young players, but Origi I think would be a really good signing for us. Of course, the Liverpool man who I believe spent the first season of his Liverpool career on loan at Lille. Is that right? I'm pretty sure it wasn't at Liverpool. Pretty sure it was away from home at Lille on loan. It was definitely on loan somewhere. But I've heard good things about him, so I wouldn't mind signing him. And of course, Boni and Jovetic, just two strikers I thought of that could possibly be good players for us. But a couple other players as well. As you can see, Romeron of Wolfsburg and also Milik of Bayer Leverkusen, who I've heard a lot of good things about. Apparently he grows pretty well too. And a few more strikers we're scouting as well. And Bola, of course, as we all know. Traore, we looked at in the first season. Vieto, Rodrigo, because he was so good in my club and country series for Spain when I used him. And Luke de Jong as well. And I think I was looking at another striker, wasn't I? Or maybe two more strikers. Yeah, Dybala and Icardi of the Italian leagues. But as I mentioned before, with these guys, I think they might be a little bit too expensive. However, we are going to put in bids for them now because we've got our scout reports completed. We may as well put the bids in now and wait and see what the clubs say. So Palermo, he's valued at £9 million, 45 grand a week on the wages, but Palermo know he's got a really decent player. Only 22 years old, so got a lot of room to grow, and already 80 overall. So I don't think Palermo would want to accept anything lower than £15 million for the guy, which I'm not really against paying, but, you know, I'm not really too sure whether that's a good fee for... I don't know, really. I mean, £15 million wouldn't be a bad deal, I suppose, but I'm not too sure whether I really want to pay that or look for other scouting targets. So we'll go over £11 million to begin with and wait and see what they say, try and back and forth a little bit. But I think we're going to be looking at about, I think £18 million to £20 million actually would be, you know, realistic. £15 million would be the best we could probably hope for there. But we'll put in a bit of £11 million anyway, wait and see what Palermo say. Dybala, of course, off to Juventus in real life. As for Icardi, again, another player I've heard a lot about, 5'11". I believe he was actually the Serie A's top scorer last year. Maybe that's completely wrong and I just made that up, but I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. Anyway, he, like Dybala, is a very decent young prospect. Only 23 years old, 81 overall already. And as you can see by the chief exec comments, it looks like he's going to cost quite a lot of money. So again, just like Dybala, I think you're looking at around £18 million at best. You know, I'd imagine you're looking at £20 million plus for this guy. Wouldn't mind signing him for that fee because of how good he looks already, but I'm not too sure whether I want to spend my entire budget on one of these two players as opposed to looking elsewhere, maybe finding a better player in the overall for that similar sort of fee, even if they're a few years older. We'll put a bit of £14 million to begin with, though. It's actually just got £13 million. It's going to take a while to go back and forth for these clubs because they're not going to accept these first two deals, but we'll have to wait and see what they say. And you never know, maybe one of these two players could be coming into Torino. So yeah, those are the strikers I'm looking at right now. Of course, I've got a couple of sort of targets in my mind that I think are sort of like backup targets if these players don't come in for us. But I'll imagine one of these players we should be able to negotiate a decent enough deal and try and get him signed. You can see by the budget right here, it's about £20 million, I'd say, maybe a little bit more, considering the wage budget as well. So we should be able to sign a decent striker with that much money. But this year, players, you don't get as many bargains as you used to, I feel. Maybe that's just my experience, I'm not too sure. And there you go. So let's see what the emails are this time. Two-player conversations, and we've got a couple of pre-season friendlies. So pre-season friendlies are basically... I don't know how to explain them really. Preseason friendlies to me are like, I guess, games which are, shop windows. This is a chance to put players in that you either want to sell or loan out, try and get them in good form, and advertise them to clubs around the world to want to take your players, because the preseason does actually count towards a player's form. So it's definitely worth using players you want to loan out, for example, so players would view them more favourably. But for me, like preseason, my number one focus is nothing other really than just try not to get any players injured. That's just how it is. So long as a player doesn't get injured, I'm relatively happy with whatever scoreline we get. We could lose the game 4-0. As long as no one gets injured, I'm fine. So as you can see with the team we're going to put out there, it is going to be a weakened side. It's going to be a completely weakened side, really. And it's just going to be full of academy players and just players who I have no intention of playing in the first 11 for the majority of the games. So it doesn't really matter what the positions are going to be, because I'm not really bothered, to be honest. May as well put them in a decent formation anyway, even though I don't really care what the scoreline is going to be. So let's just go over looking at the side I got out there, probably a 4-4-2 actually might do for this one. So let's just quickly change the formation for you guys. So yeah, preseason friendlies, like if you don't play them and you simulate them, I do recommend, if you don't want to play all your kids, that's fine, but I do recommend playing a lot of youngsters and a lot of players you want to loan out anyway to put them in the shop window. But also as well, it's worth not putting in first team players anyway, because in simulated games the chance of injury does seem to be higher than games you actually play. I'm not sure why that is, but I've noticed that in games I play, players don't get injured that often, but in simulated games it happens in like 1 in every 2 or even 3 games. So you get 2 to 3 preseason friendlies usually. I recommend playing your reserves so you don't get any players injured and you minimise the chance of those players picking up knocks or anything. So that'll do for a team. I'm not really fussed, to be honest. Again, we'll probably lose this game, and that's totally fine with me, but there you go. Also want to make sure the bench is full of players who are going to be bench as well. So in fact they all are, aren't they, apart from Bernie, but he won't come on anyway. So there you go. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know why I just did that. Right, so there you go. Let's go ahead and simulate this preseason friendly, and I think we'll probably lose. I think my record in preseason friendlies must be like 50-50 for wins and losses, and you can add draws in there somewhere. But yeah, my record for preseason friendlies must not be very good, because I literally always play kids, always play backup players, and you can see we're already 1-0 down to Leon. If I was playing my first 11, I'm pretty sure we'd actually put up a much better fight, but I'm not really fussed when we're playing preseason friendly, so we might as well just skip it anyway. We lost 2-0, but no players got injured in, which is fine, but it's not worth the risk for me anyway. So there you go. Not to mention the fact it also gives these players who want to play any preseason friendlies, give themselves some chances, better morale. So it's just really easy. Like, it's really easy to just boost a player's morale if they want to play in a game which you're going to simulate anyway, don't care about the scoreline. And there you go. So that's done, and hopefully after this advance we'll see some emails about Icardi. So yep, Inter rejected the bid for Icardi. He's too valuable. Not a real surprise. Again, I'm looking at £20 million plus for this guy. Whether I want to pay that, I'm not too sure. We're going to continuously go up by about £2.5 million and wait and see what Inter say, because we do have, actually let's go with £3 million right to begin with, because we do have enough time to do that, but I'm not sure I want to pay £20 million for Icardi. I wouldn't mind if he does grow, but the problem with this career mode is that players aren't growing, and I don't want to pay like £20 million for a striker who, don't get me wrong, 81 overall is a decent starting overall, especially for a 23-year-old, but, if he's not going to grow, it's like, what's the point? I may as well look for a striker that's in their late 20s, you know what I mean? I could possibly sign for around a similar sort of fee if he's got a better overall, but again, Palermo, just like Inter, saying he's too valuable. When a club comes back and says they're too valuable, it basically means that there's very little room to negotiate a better deal, so that you're going to have to pay basically a big premium. If they don't say that and they just say that the offer is too low or something, your chances of getting them for a lower fee than what you want to pay are a little bit increased. But when they flat out basically just say we're going to reject the deal because he's too valuable, the chances of that happening lower quite significantly. So we're going to have to pay quite a bit of money for Dybala or Icardi, which, again, I probably should have expected, really, but either way, we'll have to wait and see what they say. Putting a bit of £14 million. Again, I don't mind paying that. I don't mind paying £20 million for Dybala or Icardi, really, because they're both very good young strikers, but I'm not too sure what's going to happen there, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, second preseason friendly against Granada, and again, they're going to keep the same team out there. Don't really care about stamina, and I just want to make sure that none of my first team players get injured, so Hopefully, no players get injured anyway, because it's never nice to see that, but let's just carry up and simulate that. So, there we go. We lost to Granada by 2-1. Reached the Champions League semi-final, but lost to Granada by 2-1 in a pre-season friendly. Janssen got sent off in 38 minutes as well. And there you go. Thankfully, suspensions don't really matter in pre-season friendlies. But so we got some more scout reports coming back in. One for Luke de Jong of PSV. He looks like he could be a pretty decent striker for us as a backup player, but going into the first team, like, I'd probably rather keep Poloski. So 77 overall isn't really that high, so I'm not going to worry about him. Bertrand Traore is a decent young striker, so he must be around 77 overall. No, 75 overall? Didn't he start at 75 overall? Well, he's got showing great potential tag, but he's clearly not developing that much. I don't want to gamble on Traore, even though it'd be a lot lower for a price than Dybala or Icardi. Vieto is 78 overall. Again, like 22 years old, he could definitely grow, but he's missing any kind of potential tag whatsoever, which I believe goes away at 23. So I don't know whether I want to pay that much for Vieto if he's not going to grow either. So that's the worry with this career mode. Because players aren't growing, I just don't want to pay premiums if they're not going to grow, because it feels like a waste of money that you're basically spending for an investment that just won't end up growing and getting even better. So that's the worry for me. But bid for Immobile, £50 million or nothing. So there we go. That probably won't get matched. And the transfer offer was, yeah, that was it. And for Icardi, so yeah, Inter really don't want to get rid of Icardi, which is hardly a surprise, to be honest. I'm willing to spend, I'd say, 20 to 21 million pounds on the guy, because I think he would really work well with Immobile, but I'm not too sure about that, to be honest. So I'm going to put a bit of 18. Actually, let's go at 90 million pounds. May as well, straight from the off. 90 million pounds. And if Inter basically says he's way too valuable, we're not going to accept any deal, I think we'll probably just stop that and then look for some other targets instead. So got a few more scouting, of course. So it's not like these two are the only players in the world, but we'll have to wait and see. So Palermo actually accepted their offer. Wolfsburg have rejected a bid for Immobile, so Palermo have accepted their offer, which is good. That's £14 million for Dybala, so he's 80 overall. He's one rating lower than Icardi, but he is 1 year younger. I think he's about £1 million less on the valuation as well. So Dybala for £14 million, that could be a good deal, because what you've got to consider as well is his wages. Icardi's on 80 grand a week, Dybala is on 45 grand a week and doesn't want a wage increase. So that could be a good deal, £14 million for Dybala. Again, if he doesn't grow, it's like, yeah, it's kind of frustrating, don't get me wrong, but £14 million isn't way over the odds, and even if he doesn't turn out to be much of a success like Choupo-Moting, there's still a chance we could profit on the guy. Probably not, but there's still a chance we could still at least try and cover our losses. So, yeah, £14 million, I'd be okay with Dybala coming in for that. We'll be looking at other transfer targets anyway, so this guy isn't like the only one we're looking for, so even if he accepts his contract, we'll look elsewhere anyway, just in case, for a couple of days. In fact, what I might do is just go through the calendar a little bit by a couple of days to wait to see if we get any scout reports back on the other players, and then look at putting new bids and then offer him a contract. Because when you get a player accepting, when you get a club accepting a transfer, I believe you've got around 4 to 5 days, possibly even a little bit longer, but I think it's about 4 to 5 days before the email goes away and you can't offer them a contract. So if you've got other targets, again, I'm not sure if it is 4 or 5 days. Don't trust me on that one, but you certainly got at least a couple of days anyway. 1 day's passed and we still got the option to offer him a contract. So if you've got other targets, leave the email in your inbox for like 1-2 days if you want to risk it, 3 or 4. Again, I'm not sure how many days it is actually, and the contract will still be there. The email will still be there to offer him a contract, whilst you can look at other targets as well. So we'll give it another day and then offer him a contract, and the same works when he's accepted the contract as well. If he does, you've still got like 3 or 4 days before the email will go away and you'd have to submit a new bid. So there you go. Still, let's have a look at the user monthly report here. As you can see, Lorenzo Motta isn't the only standout academy prospect we have. As you can see, there's a lot of decent young players in here. Definitely considering promoting some of these already, to be honest. I think that the goalkeeper could be good as well, as I always like to have three goalkeepers in my team, but maybe I should wait for another May boost, see if he'll grow a few more inches, and also get an even better overall and potential boost. We might leave him for a time being, but there's a couple of other good players in here. This guy looks really decent as a CM, even though our CM area is kind of stacked right now. That's another good. We've got 2 great goalkeepers, haven't we, in our academy? This one looks like the best one. Absolutely extraordinary. Let's go ahead and promote this guy, actually. May as well just get some more squad depth in the team. And if we are going to rehouse someone like Florenzi, I guess this guy's a good player to come in and actually let's not promote him just yet. Let's have a quick look at the squad And one thing I don't want to do is sort of just completely stack the team in one position and not give them enough game time to develop. Might as well leave them in the academy. So we've got Baselli, we've got Grenier. Grenier came in, didn't he? Benassi. This guy won't get too much game time anyway. Kamisa plays through the middle for me. Do you know what? We probably don't actually need to promote that guy. So let's just leave it for the time being. Won't promote any more academy players, and we'll leave it for the time being. So there you go. So let's have one more advance, and then we'll go ahead and offer the contract to Dybala. Let's see if we get any scout reports back on the players. Okay, so Muri wants a new contract. And as you can see, the transfer was still there. So Muri wants a new contract, and I think because he's asked a couple of times in quick succession now, we better give him one. Otherwise, he'll probably get stuck on the transfer list. So let's go ahead and offer Dybala a contract real quick first. 5-year deal. I always recommend 5-year deals because players in this year's, well, players in most FIFA career modes really, are never usually tied down to a club completely if they're your player and you're trying to sell them. Sometimes, yes, you can have players on the transfer list that you want to sell, and it could take like a year before you get an offer for the guy. But it's very, very rare that your player will run down his contract if it's a really long one. Like, let's say Dybala comes in after the first year, we don't like him, we want to sell him. He's got 4 years left. In that time, you should have enough time to rehouse him and get some money for the guy. You know, releasing players is fine and everything if they're on a significant salary, but for someone like Dybala, 45 grand a week, even if he stays in for another year, if we wanted to sell him, for example, after 1 year, it's not a big deal, you know. So I always recommend long-term deals for these sort of players. 5-year if you can, 4-year if that's all they'll do. But usually most players aren't actually too fussed about the length of the contract if their wages are on point. So 5-year deals, in my opinion, are always beneficial. So third and final preseason friendly. Are we going to have 3 losses out of 3? Most likely, but I don't really care. Let's see what Fleck Bilbao can do to us. Are they going to beat us, or are we going to get ourselves a shred of dignity? Nope, we lose all 3 games. As you can see, Janssen gets an injury. So this is the point. Like, seriously, what a bad preseason for Janssen. Seriously, got a red card in one game, an injury in the next. And whenever he was on the pitch, didn't do very well defensively, clearly, because we let in, what was it, 6 goals in total? But yeah, so there we go. So Janssen got an injury there. I don't know how long it's going to be. Let's have a quick look. And, oh, cool, Dybala accepted his contract. It's going to be 6 weeks. So, you know, if we were playing a first-team player there, he'd miss the start of the season. So always worth playing those backup players just to make sure if a player does get injured, it's not a serious one for your team. So Dybala accepted his contract, so I think he's going to become our signing. We've got the SUPERCOPPA, can't we? I think he's going to become our second signing. I think that will probably do it for transfers. So £14 million for Dybala. It's still going to leave us a few £1 million to work with as well. So I think that's not a bad deal. We'll still just for the time being and look at some other options as well. But I think Dybala is going to be our next signing because I think that's a great deal. Like, I really do. £14 million for that guy seems really, really good. Even if he doesn't grow, that's not too much to pay for a striker that starts at 80 when he comes into the team. So he'd partner Immobile. That'll be another 80+ rated player in the team. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 80+s now, which is good because when we took over, we only had one who got sold straight away in the captain. So yeah, I'd be okay with that. But let's just have a quick look, see if there's any more scout reports about to be completed. Origi at Liverpool. Okay, so he's only valued at £4.3 million, so he's clearly not developed very well early on. Bonnie is valued at £15.5 million. I think it costs quite a lot of money to get hold of. So yeah, I don't really think I'm going to go bother with that one. And as for Jovetic, valued at £12 million. Yeah, I think he'd probably cost a little bit too much money as well, to be honest. He's got the important first-team player tag in his contract. Let's have a quick look at the other strikers. We had Romeron of Wolfsburg and Milik of Leverkusen. Okay, he's definitely not going to be good enough. And any more strikers? Any more strikers in Bolo, who, again, he doesn't look like he's developed at all in Bolo. Traore, yeah, we already looked at that one, didn't we? Rodrigo is the one that I would love to get. If I could get hold of Rodrigo, I'd love it. So, yeah, as you can see, the chief executive said it would be valued about £24 to £32 million. So I'll offer £20 million right to begin with, but unless they accept that, which I can't see happening, we're not going to get hold of that guy. And I think we are going to have to settle on Dybala, which is okay because it doesn't really feel like I'm settling, to be honest, because I don't think we can get any of the other targets we're looking at for a decent fee. So Dybala looks like he's going to come in. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. So what we'll do is we'll leave it for 3 days, and then we'll accept his contract if we haven't heard anything about Rodrigo, which I don't think is going to happen. So I've got other targets, yes, but I think Dybala, one of the sort of the key ones I was looking at, and there you go. So Inter want 25 million for Icardi, which clearly ain't going to happen. Muru has been transfer listed now, but that's okay. He's got time to offer him a new contract, and so we'll do 2 more simulations, not simulations, advances. And Rodrigo's got his final scout report on the guy. Look at that, 82 overall. He'll be a great signing for us, but I can't see it happening. And what is Mbolo's overall right now, I wonder? 74 overall. So I don't know what this guy starts off at. As you guys have been commenting the guy's name so many times, I don't know what he starts off at, but he clearly hasn't developed too well, because this is his third season, I do believe, or coming into his third season, and I would have expected it to be a little bit better, considering he gets like so much praise from so many people. But yeah, not really good enough for the team right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. Hopefully he'll develop at Basel, and maybe we'll look at him at a later date. Milik not good enough. Romeron is a 80 rated striker. Yeah, I'd rather get Dybala, to be honest. So we'll do one more advance. That should be enough for Dybala, and the contract shouldn't go away. So that was what, 3 days, 4 days. So yeah, as you can see, Valencia want £31.5 million for Rodrigo. Not going to happen. The email for Dybala is still here, so we had to look at our transfer target. We'll go ahead and accept him. Dybala is going to become our second signing, and I think that will most likely do it for the transfer. So Dybala comes in. So we signed two 80+ rated players who are still in their early 20s and still have a lot of time to develop. And I have to say, I'm pleased with the business we did. You know, I really am. That's two decent players for us coming in that are going to improve the first team and be young enough to still grow as well. So Dybala's going to come in. That's going to add some more depth to the striker position too, and Poloski will drop down to the bench again, because Poloski, I think Poloski, you know, is good enough for the first 11, but I do want to keep trying to get players that can actually grow, because Poloski's only grown 1 rating despite the amount of goals he scored, so that's kind of frustrating. But for Dybala coming in, I don't know what he starts off at, but I'm pretty sure it's not 80. If it is 80, I feel like an idiot, but I'm pretty sure it's not 80, so I'd imagine he's grown at least 1 rating, and he's still only 22 years old. High work rates, I love that in any position other than centre back, and 4-star skill moves always a plus. Weak foot, only 2-star, well, can't be helped. And he's got some great stats, hasn't he? He's got some really awesome stats, and I'm liking the look of this guy. I'm liking the look of this guy to partner Immobile, and I'm hopeful that these two together this season will actually work out okay. Don't know whether to start Immobile on the left because he's right-footed and Dybala on the right, so they can finesse to the opposite corner, or try and smash it at the near post for either of them. I'd imagine both of them are sort of more suited to the finesse as opposed to the shot power stats. But actually, Mbolo's got great shot power. I didn't even realise that. I didn't realise that was higher than finishing. I thought his shot power was like 80 or something. Still, we'll probably go for the finesses to begin with and wait and see how we look. But that's the team right now going into the first game of the new season. And yeah, I'm happy. Like, I'm actually pretty happy with the business we've done so far. And of course, we've still got, don't forget, because of the Dybala deal wasn't that expensive, we've still got like £7 million to work with, because £14 million actually is a really good deal for Dybala. So before we start the new season, let's have a look at the squad report, have a look at the attributes of the players and so on, and basically just assess what else we might do in the transfer window, or otherwise just leave things as they are, save some money for January, possibly look at pre-contracts and so on, and see how we are. So we've done what we've needed to do. That's the best thing, obviously, doing what you need to do in the transfer window right from the beginning before the season starts. Always a good feeling to know you got business done early before the season starts. So De Vrij coming in for £12 million plus Balanta. A little expensive, yes, and of course trading out a player as well who was one of our first signings. A bit frustrating, yes, but Balanta wasn't going to grow. We weren't going to get more than £3 million for the guy at max, and to be honest, that's a combined total of around £15 million at worst for De Vrij. I'd take that. I'd take that for a centre-back of his class who's still going to grow, hopefully, touch wood. As for Dybala coming in, yeah, £14 million. That's lower than I expected we're getting for. I was thinking £15 million would be the best, really, so that's £1 million lower than the best I was thinking, and I think considering his stats, he could definitely grow. And if he does grow, he could be a really good signing for us. So I'm happy with those two players coming in. Of course, we loaned out one of our goalkeepers in Barone as well, and Morta looks like a good academy player as well. So yeah, I'm happy right now. I'm happy with the team we've got, and I'm happy with how things are looking right now. So yeah, we're gonna have the Supercoppa against Juventus. I think this will probably be the last thing you'll see. I'll have to look at the times, but I want this episode to be around 45 minutes to an hour long. So I think what we'll do is we'll play the Supercoppa against Juventus. It's just a one-legged tie, and then we'll probably look to end the episode there. So we've got one game left in the transfer window. That'll be in the next episode, and a few more days just to make sure we might do some more transfer business as well, even though we got most of the job done in today's episode. So there you go. Hopefully I've been a decent sort of a decent tip giver, if you will, for some of the stuff I've been talking about. Actually, what I'll do real quick is I forgot. I can show you the the international management trick for finding out a player's overall. So let's have a look at my academy real quick, just quick. So there we go. Let's say Emmanuel Falco, for example. So we've got this goalkeeper right now. We'd like to know what his overall is because, you know, maybe we'd want to play him in our first team. So yeah, if you guys had a player in your academy, do you want to know what their overall is? Want to know what they'd be like when you promote them right out of the academy? Emmanuel Falco, for example. Let's just say we didn't have Bernie and we wanted an academy goalkeeper to come in straight away and be good enough for the first team. We want to check his overall, see how good it actually is. We don't have his overall unmasked, of course. It's just a potential range as well with the overall. So 71 to 75 and 88 to 94. It's just a range of a possible rating. What we can do is we can go into our international squad selection, call up a player, and we can just search by the last name and just put in Falco. And as you'll see in just a moment's time, he will pop up, and there he is. So he's actually a 74 overall rated goalkeeper at just 17 years old, which is a fantastic starting overall to come out of your academy. And we can see his full range of stats. It's not just limited to the overall. You can see his full range of stats, his skill moves, his weak foot. Academy players don't get traits, which is annoying. I hope in next year's FIFA they can, and any kind of specialities, if they do have any, which is quite rare for academy players, unless they've got the mental boost on point. So yeah, Falco, we can check his whole overall, and it works for every single player in your academy, not just goalkeepers, for example. It works for every player in your academy. This is the easiest way to do it, 16 to 19, because most great players, if you have a good academy in the international squad, are going to be from your academy. So as you can see right there, we've got more players in here. Lolo, for example, is one I recognise from our academy too. Decol is one, I think, as well. So yeah, there's academy players in there, and there you go. So that's just a real quick way of checking the players overall in your academy if you're managing a country which they are from. So there you go. Hopefully I explained that briefly. I'm glad I could finally do that, since I talked about that in like the first 5 minutes, and it's now probably like 45 minutes into the video. But yeah, let's have the game against Juventus, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this game as a live highlights game so you guys can hear what I'm saying, but I'm not going to do a live Q&A. I'll save that for a later date, but I'll do a live highlights game for you guys, and we'll see how the new signings look. Of course, De Vrij coming in, Dybala coming in as well. Of course, Dybala Juventus is going to be a Juventus player in real life, I do believe, so that's going to be interesting. And yeah, here's hoping we can get ourselves another trophy to add to our collection. We won the Serie A. That was our first trophy last season. Hopefully we can get ourselves the SUPERCOPPA as well, and we'd certainly take that. So there you go. And I think this season as well, my aims as well for trophies this year, I don't know if Champions League is actually realistic. How did I miss that? I don't know if Champions League is a realistic aim for us this season, but definitely the TIM Cup, because the board want us to win that. So I know I usually play kids in that competition, and I may do so in the early rounds, but I feel like that has to be a competition we need to aim to win, because otherwise, you know, we need to keep the board happy, because last season, don't forget, we apparently failed our Champions League objective, which isn't true, obviously, but the board would still recognise that as a failure last season. So too many failures in concession, and the board won't be happy with that. So we may have to win the TIM Cup, not exactly to keep our job, but to make sure the board don't look at us any more less favourably than they are right now, because that's really annoying. The board basically said we failed our Champions League objective, because we didn't. You know, it was supposed to be reach the group stage. I upped it to reach the knockout stages, and we reached the Champions League semi-finals. We didn't fail it, but for some reason they registered as that, so that was kind of annoying. But anyway, let's get the SUPERCOPPA underway. Let's see if we can grab ourselves another trophy. That'll be our second trophy with Torino as we enter our third season. And yeah, hopefully the board will be happy with that as well. I think you'll get a little bit more money for it too, and don't forget we can still request funds as well. So a little bit more money, you never know, we could possibly pull off one more transfer. Maybe nothing too significant, but you never know, maybe a decent young player to come through in, I don't know, any kind of position. You never know, but let's get ourselves into the SUPERCOPPA, let's get ourselves underway, and hopefully get ourselves our second trophy. Alright, free kick to Torino. Hakan is standing over it. He's certainly capable of scoring these, but he's only scored one free kick for us last season, took quite a few. But I'm going to whip this one in instead, try and put it in a dangerous area. So in it goes from Hakan, in towards Dybala, who, oh man, that was a great chance for a debut goal. Yes, Hakan, well done, son. Oh, come on, ref, he just jumped all over him, preventing us from going on a break there. As Chiellini pokes it through. That's a good ball through towards Tevez here. Tevez trying to turn De Vrij and shoot. And Bernie with a really good save. First chance for Juventus. Bernie equal to the Argentine strike. Really good save. That's a good ball through towards Paul Pogba here. Inside the area. Maximovic comes to meet him. And Pogba is never going to score from that tight angle. No worry there. Isla through towards Carlos Tevez, and Tevez plays it through towards Vidal here. Vidal shoots, and Bernie with another good save, and Juventus having a spell of pressure here. Good stop again by Bernie though, still goalless. Alright, so free kick to Juventus right on the edge of the area, right on the edge. Look at that is close to the line there. So Tevez is going to take it, going to put the wall forward, try and buy some time first here whilst the wall can get set. I'm going to put 2 more man in it. So De Vrij and Alexander can go on the wall. Also going to put Çalhanoğlu on the line as well, because there's no way he's going to chip the ball in. He's going to go for goal here, or they're going to lay it off. They're going to go for goal with Tevez, strikes it over the bar and behind for a goal kick. It's always worth doing the wall trick when you position walls forward if they're right next to the goal and you want to buy yourself some time to set up your wall, and also put a man on the line if you want, because yes, you do risk a player getting booked, but free kicks are a lot easier to score this year, both for you and the AI as well. So always recommend using the R1 button if you feel like the AI have a great chance of scoring, and get yourself some time to set up your wall, position a man on the line if you want. Here's Vidal. And Vidal plays that wide towards David Alaba. Motta shuts him down. It will come to Vidal. Inside towards Gundogan. Good chance here as Tevez gets on the ball. Turns. Good tackle by Danilo. And now a good chance on the break as Dybala finds Gabbiadini. Good chance here. If Immobile makes the right run, he could be away. Immobile, got Dybala running through. Really nice build-up. Dybala for 1-0. Fantastic start to his Torino career. Paulo Dybala scoring on his debut against the club he's going to join in real life. And makes it Torino 1, Juventus 0. Really nice build up there between, I think it was Gabbiadini, Immobile and Dybala, but Immobile and Dybala anyway, the ball get held up there, you watch Dybala running through, no one's going to catch up, and it's a really composed finish by the Argentine as well. I wanted a debut goal for him, I've got a debut goal for him, and that's a really nice finish as well. That's why I like finessing it to the opposite corner there with the preferred feet. So really good finish by Dybala, cushioning the ball into the side of the net, perfect start, Torino 1, Juventus 0 in the Supercoppa. And still Alaba through towards Fernando Llorente, and now back to Alaba, and now Llorente chips it inside towards Tevez. Maximovic can't clear. Carlos Tevez tackled by Motta, but still shoots. It's blocked. It's going to come to Gundogan, who makes it 1-1. A really good finish by the former Borussia Dortmund midfielder, and Juventus are back on level terms, and that was a really nice finish there. I tried to get a block, that's why I slid in, but didn't anticipate the extra touch. And that's a really good finish by Gundogan there. As you'll see, the ball comes in here. Motta makes a challenge but can't clear it. Slid in with Çalhanoğlu. Thought he was going to take it first time, but instead, that is a wonderful finish. He flicks it up and volleys it in first time with the right foot into the bottom corner. A great strike by Gundogan. Cannot argue with that. That's a brilliant goal, and can't blame Bernie at all. Torino 1, Juventus 1. What a lovely finish, and we're back on level terms here in the Supercoppa. And here's Danilo on the ball, turns his man, going to shoot from range, why not? See if I can get Courtois sweating, and it wasn't too far off, but not the best attempt. And Sandro on the ball, cuts inside with a step over. I'll play it backwards towards Hakan. Just try and retain possession for a minute and not give that ball away. Danilo on the ball, fake shot round Alaba. Can I cut inside here with Danilo? Yes, I can. I can see someone coming in Dybala, and Courtois makes the save, and I thought I possibly could have had a penalty there. Thought the challenge came in from behind, but probably not. Still corner to us. Hakan to take it. In it goes to the centre towards Maximovic, and that should be dealt with. It's onto the roof of the net anyway, and it goes behind for a goal kick, and that is half-time. So 1-1 in the Supercoppa. We took the lead for a debut goal from Dybala. Juventus equalising 5 or 6 minutes later through Gundogan with a really nice strike, and it's neatly balanced right now. I think both sides have been pretty equal in terms of shots, and I think a 1-1 scoreline right now is probably the fair result. I don't think anyone deserves to be losing. It's actually been a really good first half. Let's have a look at the stats. So yeah, Juventus have had 1 more shot and 1 more on target, and a teensy bit more possession too, but it's pretty balanced right now, and I think as things stand, neither side deserves to be losing, because it's been a really awesome start. Anyway, hopefully we'll get a win in the second half though, and be claiming the Supercoppa come the end of 90 minutes. Here's Tevez, Motta trying to shut him down, but Motta, I don't know why, but all my academy players always seem to come out a little bit stocky. I don't know why, but if he wins the ball back like that, I don't really mind. As he wins the ball back, and a great chance here on the break, got Immobile running through, don't want to give it to him though, want to give it to Gabbiadini instead, down the left-hand side, he can try and cut past his man, in he goes, Gabbiadini to shoot, great tackle by Bonucci, and Sandro picks it up, whips in across, headed away, and there's an injury to Immobile, isn't there? Oh my goodness, that is the one thing I do not want to see, because he's signalling he wants to come off as well. And I'll retain possession for a minute because I think the referee's going to stop play as Immobile is down. And that's the worst start. That's the worst start to a new season. Immobile injured, and I really hope that's not a serious one, but that could be a monthly injury, not just a weekly one. So that's a big shame, and I'm really hopeful that's not too bad. So we'll bring on Poloski. But let's make another sub as well. Take off Gabbiadini and try and get some more creativity through the middle through Grenier to make his debut. And that's really bad. That's going to be disappointing. Even if we win the Supercoppa, I'm still going to be disappointed about that. That looks like a really nasty injury for Immobile. And I'm hopeful that's going to be a week one and not a month one. But that could possibly be a long-term injury. And for that to happen to last season's top scorer on the Supercoppa, the first head of the new season, how is your luck? Hopefully that's not too bad. Corner to Torino, Hakan to take it. Let's try and give it towards Maximovic. In it goes. Poloski goes for it instead, headed away. It will come to Sancho. Danilo's got space to shoot here. He's not too bad from range. His first attempt in the game wasn't the best, but that's a much better one. But Courtois is equal to it. Really good stop. What a goal that would have been by Danilo. So just under 6 minutes to go. It is still 1-1. The second half hasn't actually had too much action in it compared to the first. I don't even recall Juventus having a single shot, which is good. But either way, not good for the gameplay, I suppose. But still, we haven't done too much either, really. It's been quite a poor second half, considering how good the first one is. But here's Danilo down the right-hand side. If we can turn Chiellini here, we could try and cut inside here, and then outside, and then back inside. Great ball to Florenzi. Can he turn and shoot? Yes, he can, but he puts it wide. What a bad miss by Florenzi. That was the chance. That was the chance right there to win the game, and I put the shot wide. Great opportunity. Found Florenzi in space. He turned his man. He did the hard work, but not the easy bit. And the shot goes wide, and it's still 1-1. Sandro wins it back and will try and get it away, but that was a poor decision, but thankfully De Vrij is there to mop up. Had a pretty solid debut for us, De Vrij, not going to lie. Maybe not as good as Dybala's, but still played quite well. But here's Sandro through towards Grenier. Has he got the pace on Vidal? A new signing, Grenier down the left-hand side. He's got a man in the centre. Poloski runs in. Can he get picked out? Yes, he can, and it's Torino 2, Juventus 1 in stoppage time. And it just had to be, didn't it? Like, it just had to be. Why is this guy always popping up when we need him? Like, seriously, he's not growing in the overall, but he does score some important goals, doesn't he? Poloski taps in from close range and makes it Torino 2, Juventus 1. Yes, it's the Supercoppa. We're not that fussed, but either way, we look as though we're on course for our second trophy. And, oh my goodness. Well, I guess I'm not going to say it's a blessing in disguise that Immobile got injured, because clearly not, but even so, I'm glad that his replacement has come on to score a goal regardless. And let's take off Motta now. Let's just take off Florenzi even, and that is just absolutely fantastic. So Poloski has come off the bench to surely win us the Supercoppa, because I think that's going to be the last attack of the game, and that is absolutely fantastic. That was a great feed as well down the left-hand side, and a really good assist for the easy tap-in for Poloski in the centre. So I might as well just keep on talking. I'm pretty sure the referee is going to blow for full time any second now, because I think we've played most of the stoppage time, haven't we? As Motta wins it back off Pogba. Now it's going to come to Gundogan. Can he get one final chance? Juventus need to put the ball in the box here as Tevez gets onto it. Good ball inside. Sandro mops it up and clears. And Grenier, can you win it in the air? Nope. Storaro hooks it backwards. Still one final chance for Juventus. Someone shut him down, please. Isla on the ball. Down the right-hand side. Sandro doesn't cut it out. It'll come to Vidal. Vidal on the ball, shoots and hits the post. And Bernie grabs the rebound. And Juventus so close to equalising with the final shot of the game. But it doesn't matter, because Vidal hits the post. And we hold on and win the Supercoppa by 2-1. So delighted with that. Poloski comes off the bench for the injured Immobile, and we do grab ourselves our second trophy, managing Torino and the first Supercoppa to our collection as well. So delighted with that. And you know, don't get me wrong, I'm still thinking about the Immobile injury, still worried about how long it's going to be. But either way, I'm just so glad that we did manage to win this, and I'm quite relieved as well, because I thought Vidal was going to score there, as he ended up smacking the post and Bernie pounced on the rebound. So a 2-1 victory for Torino. I think we deserved to win it as well, because in the first half it was pretty balanced, to be fair, but in the second half, other than that one final chance Juventus just had with Vidal, that was their only shot in the second half. They did effectively nothing, really. We dominated, well, we didn't dominate possession, but we got possession in our favour, a 5% swing in the second half, and you know, more shots, more on target, finished up with that, and of course the most important stat, more goals too. So pleased to get the win. Again, it was a game where I thought Juventus were going to continue to pressure in the second half. They looked like the bit better of a side, but they really didn't. Hard to give man the match for this one, really, because I don't really know who played the best. I actually thought De Vrij had a pretty decent debut for us, yet the game only gave him a 6.5. I thought it was really solid at the back, but evidently not. Danilo played quite well, 8.3 for him. Not really sure who player of the match was, though, really. I'd probably give it to one of the goal scorers. Either way, I thought Dybala played quite well. I really do. I thought Dybala had a really solid debut for us, and I'd say he was probably my player of the game. Immobile played well before his injury, but I think Dybala deserves player of the game. I thought he played really, really well. Of course, scored our first goal too, and only misplaced one pass in the single game. So let's go with Dybala, winning player of the game on his first game for us, and I'm really pleased we have won ourselves the Supercoppa, and that is our second trophy with Torino. So that is going to end the episode, guys. We're going to end it here. Let's first check out the injury for Immobile. So fingers are crossed right now. Please tell me it's not a lengthy one. Immobile is going to be out for 2 months with a broken elbow. So, you know, this episode was going really well. We had a lot of good stuff going on, and now we've lost our top goal scorer for 2 months. So Immobile is going to be out for 2 months. That's a real shame. That really is a sour note to end the episode on. But Poloski did score after coming off the bench, so it's not too much of a fear for us. I think Poloski will be okay. And of course, 2 months as well. Don't forget, we don't really play any games in the Serie A till right at the end of the month. So he's got like 3 weeks to recover anyway, and that covers almost half of the injury time. So, you know, that's not too bad. He'll come back, I would imagine. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's going to come back in October sometime. We would have played a couple of Champions League games by then. We'll have to wait and see what group we've been drawn in. So he's gonna miss a couple of key games. Yes, he'll miss that game against the Juventus. But I think we can cope without Immobile for that time. As long as we don't have a really tough Champions League group with a couple of big fixtures right to begin with, I think we can cope without Immobile for that time, and he'll come back around this period here, and he'll get back into the games, and hopefully that injury won't be too significant for us in terms of the damage it will do. Still a sad note to end the episode on, yes, don't get me wrong, but even so, at least we won the Supercoppa, and there you go. So that is going to end the episode, guys. So as always, big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I really hope you've enjoyed this special episode number 50 of this series. I want to say a big thank you for all supporting the series so far. It's been great to know that the majority of the videos have had like 1,000 plus likes on them every single episode. Not all of them, of course, but the majority have, and that's absolutely incredible. So the continued support, the consistent support is really appreciated. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully these sort of specials make up for that as well, and a way of me showing my appreciation to you guys for showing the support too. If you have enjoyed the video, then please do leave a like. You don't have to leave a like if you don't want to, that's totally fine, but I really would appreciate it, as the likes do help the channel out. So really would appreciate a like. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Hopefully I gave a couple of tips and tricks for you guys to learn a little bit more about career mode. If you're someone who doesn't play the game mode too much, hopefully I gave you a couple of sort of starter up tips as well, in regards to things like counter offers and so on and so forth. And hopefully you enjoyed the video regardless, even if you're an experienced player and you know all about these sort of tips and tricks anyway. And there you go. And I think I sort of got the potential wrong as well when I was talking about the potential tags of the exciting prospects, so I might have to do an annotation on that. But either way, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, then please do leave a like. Appreciate the support as always, and I'll see you for the next episode of my new career mode, which will be episode number 51 very soon.